Welcome to Sober.Coffee, a weekly coffee chat sharing experience, strength, and hope for anyone on the sober road to recovery. You can download Sober.Coffee weekly on all podcast platforms and check us out on Instagram at Sober.Coffee Podcast and on Twitter at Sober.Coffee Pod. To learn more about us and to help support these sessions, visit online at Sober.Coffee. Here are your hosts, two guys on their own path to recovery, Mike and Glenn. Let's join them at the coffee shop.
Good morning, Glenn.
Hey, what's up, my brother?
You amaze me. I'm amazed.
Why's that?
Because you sucked me into this podcast thing. I didn't even know. You know, a few years ago, I
sucked
never
you in.
Yes, you did.
I sold you.
Yes, you did. Here's the deal, folks. When Glenn says, Mike, let's go out for lunch, that means Glenn's got a strategy, a plan. He's got something up his sleeve.
Yeah, but the thing with Mikey is Mikey's a strategist, right? He's an idea generator. And Mikey normally, love you, but you normally hit and run.
Oh, yeah.
You normally come up with the great ideas, you put it all together, and then you're on to the next one.
But you made me stick
on this one. But we are almost 3 years,
I know.
2 years and 3/4 later.
And I keep thinking in my head, we'll do this one more year.
200 episodes. Yeah. And we just went out to dinner again. You signed up for another year.
I know. I re-upped on my contract.
You sucker, man.
But I
absolutely love it.
I made higher demands this time. I wanted blue M&Ms in the coffee shop. And
that's about what our budget holds.
That's right, exactly.
So that's
exactly.
Great. So
hey, real quickly, how do people find out more about what's going on?
You always put me on the spot. So we have so many different ways. Our website is Sober.Coffee.
Right, not Sober.Coffee.com.
No, it's just type in Sober.Coffee.
Right.
That is amazing. It has all of our episodes.
Right.
It has a section called Writings, also known as Blogs, also known as Mikey's Mental Emotional Spew.
Right.
Just genius. I mean, some of the best written things I've ever seen about sobriety. And then there's a resource room, which is amazing.
Good.
It's got links to songs, anything that's referenced in like ours today, right? Stuff will be in there referenced, right? So if you hear an episode, you want to say, well,
they talked about this, boom, there's the link.
Boom, I love boom.
Boom, or bam.
Boom. No, I like boom better.
Like boom, okay.
Yeah, boom. So boom, it's in there, right? So that's one thing. So we're on Twitter at Stay Sober Today.
That's called X. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's right. X on X at Stay Sober Today. We're on Sober.Coffee Pod. We're on Instagram. We're on my mother's bulletin board.
I know. Are we in the yellow pages?
At the nursing home, and we're in the yellow pages.
We're in the yellow pages. What's a yellow page?
I know, absolutely. Sorry, man, I'm coughing again.
So listen, blah, blah, blah. We got a table for three at the coffee shop today, so I want to jump right into it. I'm super stoked.
So first of all, out there on social media, we have tons of followers, love them, and we love engaging with them, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of them, it has nothing to do with sobriety, right? Hey, I sell T-shirts, sell my T-shirts, right? Mm-hmm. We just skip. We don't even respond to them, right? And
sorry, T-shirt guy.
Yeah, then we have folks that say, hey, I love sobriety. Here's my OnlyFans page. No, we don't do those.
We definitely don't go there.
Yeah, we don't do those, right? but we get some folks that connect with us that just have some real heartfelt, emotional experience, and that's what we love to hear: experience, strength, and hope.
Right.
So Carly, welcome.
Carly, welcome.
And Carly has a name longer than ours. It's Carly Ann Marie Reed, which, Carly, I'll let you go into that in further detail. But Carly did some poems recently that were just so heartfelt. I said,
you shared one with me. It was awesome.
So I reached out. I'm like, Carly, would you spend a couple minutes in the coffee shop with us and just kind of join and share? So, Carly, welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Carly. Welcome.
Thank you. And thank you so much for having me. I feel really honored to be a part of your table of three and be having coffee with you this morning. I brought my coffee, so
yay.
Cheers.
That's awesome. And just to set the stage, right, it's, we do this early in Chicagoland, right? So it's 28 degrees, cloudy and cold in Chicago, and I roll in my sweatshirt, right? And Mikey, and it's dark in the studio, right? And so Carly pops on the video, and she's got the bright Florida Naples sun shining in her background,
right?
And I'm like, my gosh,
and a sunshine smile to match.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
That's great.
Thank you.
So, Carly, welcome. Yeah. Great to have you. Why don't you let's bounce it to you and tell us about yourself and what you're about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first, my Anne Marie, that's a combination of my grandmother's middle name and my mom's middle name, Anne and Marie. So my mom did that. So it's basically like when I say my full name, I have like 4 names because it's first, 2 middle, and then my end. So anyway, yeah, Carly Ann Marie Reed. And I just reached out to you guys because, well, I love your podcast. And when I was started to get sober, I had to listen to recovery stories and encouragement and motivation to, stay on this path, because I'm sure you guys are familiar that as addicts or alcoholics, whatever it is, it's really hard to stay the course.
Mm-hmm.
At times you get triggered. And so anyway, a couple of things that I did that kind of tie into what led me here was, first, I would listen to podcasts, and yours was one of them that would, give me hope and listen to people's stories. And second was I would write. So every time that I got triggered, what I did was I would think like, well, what's triggering me? Is it, and then it ends up, there's this whole layers underneath the addiction as to why I was using. And it's not just because I'm an addict or I'm an alcoholic or drug addict, whatever you want to call it. It's underneath, there's all these wounds and things that I was just burying. So that's why my poetry is so, I guess I would definitely call it heartfelt and vulnerable. And when you read it, you can really feel it. And, I feel like some people may connect, some may not, but majority of the people can connect because it has to do with things like mental health and inner child wounds and all those things that I feel like we all experience. So I just reached out to you guys with my poetry, and I really appreciate you having me on and everything. And that's how I've been getting through my recovery, has just been writing. And I've been addicted for 14 years. So this was actually since I was 17, so 15 years. So this is actually my first sober, Thanksgiving was 2 days ago. This was my first sober holiday in 15 years, which was crazy.
That's amazing.
And my mom was just so grateful because, they're usually during the holidays, oh my gosh. You know what goes on the night before Thanksgiving.
It's so funny. Which Mike is going to show up this Thanksgiving? Is it going to be fun drunk Mike? Is it going to be mean drunk Mike? Is it going to be sloppy Mike drunk Mike?
Is it going to be out of commission Mike?
Right. And this time this year, Carly, it's so fun. I was in the game. I was with everybody else. I was in the kitchen, if you will, and they wouldn't let me anywhere. They didn't want me in the house, let alone in the kitchen. So, yeah, and moms, aren't they special? Because they're the ones that have been rooting for us through all our trials and mine anyway. And it sounds to me like your mom was the same way, because the only way she could have the joy is because she knew the pain. And she, my mom I don't think cared that I was, non-present. She cared because she saw me hurting. I mean, you don't fool your mom. You don't fool your mom.
Yeah. Because when my mom always says she knows who I was meant to be, and now I'm stepping into my identity, and I share a lot of really vulnerable poetry, but I've been doing so much now that I'm clear-minded. I'm doing so, and that's not to say I'm not triggered or don't think about drinking and drugging. Like, that crosses my mind every single day.
It was a habit.
But but the way that I'm handling it now is I just do creative outlets. Like, I scrapbook, I paint, I write poetry. My job, or I do my full-time career, is I design homes. Mm-hmm. So I'll jump in and I'll start doing design work. So anything creative, I just completely dive into, and that's how I heal that craving or that trigger. And I just create. And usually if it's something that's specifically triggered, like a situation or that's where I'll jump in and I'll start writing about it, or I'll do a painting about it. Let me show you one I did really quick. I'll describe it too.
Okay, good.
So we'll have to put this up in the resource room.
Yeah, send us a JPEG. We'll throw it up in the resource room. And so people, as they're not driving, when they're parked, they can go to our resource room and they can see this picture. So go ahead and describe it.
Yeah, I can talk about it so people can understand what I'm showing you. But, it's winter, and I actually wrote a poem about it, and then I painted this, and it's representing me and how I've my years of being stuck in the cold.
So she's in a snow globe, and
Mm-hmm.
and she's sitting kind of bundled in the snow, kind of crunched up a little bit, and on the outside of the snow globe is lips. Am I right?
So inside,
lipstick.
So inside the snow globe, it's snowing, it's winter, it's
Right.
gray, and outside it's
sunny.
It's like blue sky, it's cloudy, and then the lips on there are like representing the melting of the snow and the glass, because it's like I was in my own trap, I was in my own snow globe.
Oh, I love
Wow, and you wrote a poem about this as well first, and then the picture depicts the poem. Wow.
Exactly. That's kind of how I do whenever I'm triggered or something. And that one had to do with like I was actually talking to one of my friends, her name is Jacqueline. She's an artist in Nashville. And I was telling her how I was like, I have these emotions now and I have a heart and my feelings. I feel like I had this ice on my heart for so long and now it just melted off. And so she was like, oh, you should write a poem about that. So that's where then I start thinking about it. And then it was, so the whole message of that poetry and that painting is how my heart kind of, and me just kind of, when I became sober and entered recovery and actually started looking out for myself, I'm melting the ice that I've been putting on layers of substances for so long.
Yeah, and Carly, I can say that I do the blogging for Sober.Coffee, and I speak for Glenn and I, but in the blog, it's a lot of we, right? Because we're so alike. So we struggled with this, we did this, and now we're experiencing that, right? And but I can tell you it's two things. First of all, I don't sell them. I don't sell advertising. I don't plan on selling my works. It's just so cathartic for me to get to the root of what I'm feeling and try and get the words to paint that picture to anybody who it can help. I don't know where it goes. Some blogs get a lot of readers. Some blogs get nothing. It doesn't matter. What matters is I took it from inside my heart and my head, and I got it onto paper, and it's just such a relief. It's so cathartic.
Exactly. It's this weird feeling where it's like so that's why I do my posts and stuff, and I'll do posts and poetry of painting and poems, but it's like until I release it and put it out there, it feels like it like just stays inside of me. But I have these like powerful messages that just kind of cross my mind, and I use more metaphoric with my poetry and stuff instead of factual, and more like I did a series, I don't know if you saw, on Mona Lisa, where I painted her in the iris, because the whole point was, when you look at Mona Lisa is known as a masterpiece, and she was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. And the reason I did her was painted her inside the iris is because it represents the reflection of a masterpiece. So the point is, when we all look in the mirror and we see ourselves, we should see masterpieces, because we weren't painted by Leonardo da Vinci, but we were created by our creator, and we have a purpose and a reason. So that was a lot of like the snow globe represents being trapped and being in winter, seasonally, like not changing season, because you don't change seasons when you're in addiction. You're in winter all the time.
Right.
So a lot of my shares are metaphorical, and they kind of make you think a little deeper.
I'm stuck. My brain stopped listening when you said we are a masterpiece. I mean, that was so beautiful. And yeah, people look at Mona Lisa as a masterpiece, and what you're suggesting, we're just spot on. When we look in the mirror, we absolutely we're painted by the master painter.
Exactly. So we're not so I can actually read you the poem I wrote on that one called Human Masterpiece. Okay. It's called Human Masterpiece. And it's about not being stuck in the world of comparison and understanding you are your own masterpiece. So it's called Human Masterpiece. Judging our own flaws, weaknesses, and sins leaves us often discouraged, lost in comparison, desiring to be different, more like her or him, envying the traits we admire in them. Growth into self-discovery is a transformation. Dig deeper, your power lies within. It's that nobody else in the world is you. developing sense of identity, true value. Like Leonardo's Mona Lisa, you're a masterpiece too. One of a kind, God's designed, created beautiful. Characteristics personalized and intentional, distinctive qualities that make you special. Gifts we can use to bless others. Illuminate the qualities you were born with, to walk in freedom and fulfill your purpose. We're all human. No one is perfect. Bring it all together simultaneously. You're his work in progress and a masterpiece. Every shade, he painted the depths of our traits. Discover your inner strength to step out of frame. Mona Lisa masterpiece, modern day.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Man, I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's just, it's funny, Mike. We get a lot of guests and stuff, and I just see we're spending a snippet in time here with Carly, and Carly's so appreciative. But it just seems like there's just a creative perspective here that, I'm looking forward to going back, because I think you post a lot of your poems online, right?
Yeah, I do. I'm publishing a book that should be done published December 1st.
Would you have ever guessed that?
Book.
No, never.
Would you have ever guessed that you'd be publishing a book of poetry, Carly?
No, I never even knew I could write poetry.
Wow.
It's amazing what happens in sobriety.
It's amazing.
Exactly. And I never ever before I got sober, I didn't have a social media presence. I was always paranoid, didn't want to show anything. And now I'm sober and I feel like I was saved, and now I'm sharing all these messages that are coming to me. And I never wrote in my, I told you I do for a living, I design homes. I've never really written things. So now all of a sudden I have this talent at writing where I just piece things together. And they come to me from my higher power. They're not just, this is something that has formulated through recovery that I never knew I had. I never saw myself publishing a book or writing poetry. If you would have asked me if I would write a poem, I would say, I would think that was really weird.
Right. Can I just throw it out there, just because I'll tell you what I'm so inspired about. Glenn and I are old codgers, right? We are exactly what people think of a 12-step recovery. You walk into a room with a couple of gruffy guys with cigarettes on. Carly's not that. Do you mind shooting out your age range, just if you would be so kind?
Yeah.
Because, and I'll tell you why I'm asking. The only reason I'm asking is because it's inspirational that you're not 60 years old and you've come to this term with yourself. You're much younger than us. Would you mind framing it out as to when you how old you were when you made this decision to get sober?
Yeah, well, I started using at 17, just alcohol, and then, the recreational stuff. And then I am 32 now, and I got sober at age 32. And I think the reason I speak out about it is because I do have everything. If you look at me from the outside, everything is very put together, check all the boxes, job, everything, all the necessary things. But my message is no, there was a huge void and I had a huge secret of using. And when I come out and talk about it, people are shocked because they didn't know what I was hiding for so long. And I was really, really good at hiding it. I mean, to everybody except my mom, because my mom knows me best.
Well,
and
yep.
It gets better. She was growing up. She gave polygraphs for a living. So I lived with
That's
like it reminds me of that. Detector.
It reminds me of that scene from Meet the Fockers, right? Where it's like, come on, we're gonna put you through a little test here, right?
In the basement.
That's great.
Oh my gosh, it was insane. So she was the only one I could never fooled about my using. She always knew. And because she knew, she worried more. So now we've always had a good relationship, but it's even better now because her heart's at rest. But it's just funny because I did grow up with a polygraph, literally a walking lie detector.
That's great. Carly, I love how you put check all the boxes, right? It reminds me of a song by this band, Blue October, big recovery band, Justin Furferfeld, great. I mean, they great songs, just helped me a lot in early sobriety. But they have a song called Drama Everything. And it talks about how the house looks perfect from the street. Just don't go in the basement, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I just got goosebumps. That's basically pretty much my message. And it's actually, I don't know if you guys have seen, I know you've seen my page, but I don't know if you've seen the community page I have, which my girlfriend and I started, called Trust Your Mess and then _edge, because it's about embracing your mess, because within your mess there's a message. So that's one of, and we post, it's a community page. That's where I don't, we don't post about each other or any of our stuff. It's all about other people and positive messages, and people who aren't sober too. Like my sister's a therapist, and I posted her because she's not, she doesn't have an addiction problem, but she has a positive message that she can share that can be taken in by anybody, not just in recovery, but spreading positivity. And I think after years of being so selfish with my using and so in my little snow globe of winter and just worried about myself, now that I'm sober, it's like I feel like more vibrant and radiant to like share, to connect with people, share their stories, because I know how important it is for me to get sober. I had to hear other people's stories.
Right, absolutely. I'm going to post it in the resource room, but tell me again, it's Trust Your Mess. Trust Your Mess and then
_edge. So it's like message, but the mess and
gotcha.
AGE are set up. Yeah.
.com?
And it's about the well, we're working on the website now, but on Instagram. Trust Your
okay,
Mess.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was already following you. Check that out.
Really?
I'm with it.
All right, beautiful.
I'm with it. Carly, thank you so much for jumping on.
Yeah.
Sharing your poem, sharing your message, sharing your creativity, very heartfelt, vulnerable. The one thing I like to finish with is how you said, who I was meant to be.
Yeah.
And I can really relate to that. And I think I'm living a life today of who I was meant to be.
Right.
How about you, Mikey?
Yes.
I mean, it's amazing. You said the word purpose as well, Carly. And, I think I sought my purpose for years out there, decades. I sought my purpose. And when I couldn't find it, I put myself in that snow globe. I felt stuck inside that snow globe, and I didn't feel there was any way for me to get out and see the sunshine. Yeah. And
yeah, exactly.
And
you have to melt those walls.
You got to melt the walls down, like you said about your heart, And I today I feel like my writings, this podcast, are part of my purpose. And again, nothing's changed here in the years that we've been doing this. I hope one person hears us today and hears hope that they can actually be that vibrant person that they were created to be, and just backing up on to Glenn's comment, for me anyway, and for you, we found that finding a creative outlet, whether it be a paintbrush, a pen, or a piece of pottery, just create. There's something so rewarding about creating something.
It's so peaceful.
It's so peaceful, and I hope that people grab onto that. I hope they find something. It might be grabbing a pick for a guitar. Learn to play guitar. Learn to tinker around with the piano. Learn to play. Just get the creative outside. It's for so long. I had I had so many noises in my head before. Now I'm doing something with the noise. Yeah.
Exactly. And so, I just wanted to, my last message would just be, about the Mona Lisa thing, is just understanding that you're a masterpiece. Because I think a lot of people, they get stuck in addiction and they don't feel special enough or good enough. And once you realize that you have a purpose and you have qualities that you can share, that's when I think the game changes, because then you don't want to keep harming yourself.
Totally love it.
Carly,
all right, Carly, thank you so much.
We wish you the very best and everything. Will you come back and update us when your book comes out?
Yes, absolutely. I'll send you guys the link and everything too.
Fantastic.
Excellent. Carly, have a great sunshiny day.
You. I know. Love the sun behind her.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Carly.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right,
bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us for today's coffee chat. To contact the show, email us at podcast@Sober.Coffee. If you need immediate help, the AA hotline is 800-839-1686. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 800-273-8255. Remember, Mike and Glenn are sharing their own journey on the path to recovery. Any suggestions, medical or otherwise, are their own experiences and should not be viewed as professional advice. See you next week, and remember, there is a solution.